Well, folks, good evening to you, one and all, and welcome to yet another round of Sports and GT Masters and Grandmasters Season 13, round number 7. And as you can see, today we are at OULTON Park, where we do battle in the Lotus 79. This is going to be a biggie. This is going to be a goodie. There's no doubt about it. The lap times are so close to one another. In fact, the top 7 within zero point 0.8 of a second. So let's have a look at who's going to be out there. JJ van der Merwe in his favorite color, green. The Marlboro entry of the frequent flyer, Graham Stephen. Herman Lazarus in his favorite colors, blue. Mr. Look Easy. Oh, look at that. The original Ferrari colors. Love that color scheme. Timothy Stanton in the candy car with that lovely big Ferrari Egypt insignia on the wing. Captain Peter van der Spey back from the Camel Challenge and in the Camel colors as well. Long jeans. Was it DeLonghi that's on the side of that car? Is it DeLonghi or Long Jeans? DeLonghi, that's on the side of that motor car. Leon van Wyk in the Being IT entry. Lovely sticker job on that car. He'll be one of the quickest out there, as will Gerald Free. Full on Ferrari colors for that one. Actually, somehow it looks like, remember Red 5 with Nigel Mansell? Yeah, it looks something like that. Willem Botha, nice to have Willem back as well. The man from Gazoo Racing, Toyota South Africa. And then the new kid on the block, Daniel Lamprechts, as he works his way through to do a lap. Let's have a look at those track positions. Who is where right now? So far, the quickest man being Leon van Wyk, blindingly quick. 1 minute 18.24, 21 thousandths of a second slower. Cheryl, oh look, easy, goes to the top by 200ths of a second. This is going to be brilliant stuff. JJ having a brilliant outing so far. Finds himself within just a tenth and a smidgen of the top end of the field. A success story from 2024, Timothy Stanton. Peter van der Spey trying to make amends after having lost out on the last event, and Sandra Bakari bagging a full bunch of points. So he works his way around in the camel car. Sandra Bakari, our super senior, in the Canon colors. Beautiful. What a replica. Herman Lazarus completes yet another lap. Bumps himself up to within 1.5 seconds of the fastest lap time. Graham Stephen. Hello, Graham Stephen. Graham Stephen pops in and says, let's do this thing. Wow, that is super duper quick by Graham Stephen, that he's come right onto the front row of the grid and beat out on everybody's. Oh, look, Easy's in there as well. Look, Easy. Man, this is going to be so close. You gotta believe this one's gonna be as close as what it possibly can get. This is going to be a tight run affair, that is for sure. Leon van Wyk at the sharp end of the field right now. There's nobody that's really close to him at the moment. He's got 2 tenths. Oh, look at that. Luke Lukizi comes into the game once again. Luke Lukizi going within 23 hundredths of a second. 2 tenths outside of that is Graham Stephen. Just another 2 tenths further back is Gerald Ferry on the outside of the front row. Daniel Lamprecht. 6 tenths, nothing much in it. JJ van der Merwe being bumped down to that 6th position, but still within 7 tenths. Doesn't get much closer than that. Whereabouts is Timothy Stanton? Is he going to come through for yet another lap? I'm pretty sure you're going to find that he's still going to get quicker than that. Timothy Stanton, 1.2 seconds off in the candy car. Let's see as he comes through. Can he bump himself up on that second row of the grid? Nope, a 118.333. It's Gerald Ferrier and Leon van Wyk on the front row of the grid. It's 13 hundredths of a second. It's 13 thousandths of a second. It's 37 thousandths of a second for Luke Lukizi. So there's nothing much in it up front. 11 entries that's out there. Sandra Bakari, the super senior, 1.8 seconds off, and that Luke Lukizi goes to the front. Luke Lukizi goes to the front of the field, 117.187. That was utterly brilliant by Luke Lukizi to be able to do that. What is the end result times going to be? We're 7 minutes 50 seconds in. And at this stage of the fight, there is no cut and dried and dusted line of attack for everybody here. We'll just have to look and watch and see exactly how this one's going to play itself out. Look, Lukizi, fastest lap time out there. Luke, do you think anybody's going to be able to knock you off that pole?
Time to the last corner.
9 minutes and 13 seconds in. Luke Lukizi is the fastest man out there. Gerald Ferries managed to put it up alongside him. And then it is Leon van Wyk is the next man. Can Leon van Wyk, as he goes through, will he be able to bump it up onto the front row of the grid? And Leon van Wyk goes right to the front of the field. Leon van Wyk with 9 minutes 36 gone. There's just 2.5 minutes to go. Do you think anybody's going to be able to knock you off there?
I think that... Is there like a turbo boost button that I...
Alright, so it looks like the guys are not able to hear us at the moment. We'll see if we can get that one sorted out for you. Just one more minute to go before we get to the end of this one. And at this stage of the fight, it is Leon van Wyk that is the fastest man out there. It's Luke Lukizi that's the second fastest man out there. And the only man that's still out on circuit is Timothy Stanton. And there he goes off as well. So that is the way that it's going to line up at this stage of the fight. We'll just wait for the computer to run the details through for us, but we can see the front row of the grid is going to be Leon van Wyk from Luke Lukizi, then it will be Gerald Ferry from Graham Stephen, Daniel Lamprecht from JJ van der Merwe, It's going to be amazing stuff. Can you believe it? It just doesn't get any closer than what we've got here. And as I said at the top end, I do believe this is going to be one magnificent race. There's going to be between very little and nothing between all of these guys, and I'm expecting it to be very, very strong up front, and no quarter given, no quarter asked, and all quarters taken as Luke Lukizi comes to a halt on the circuit as well. Looks like Peter van der Spey is also, looks like he might be wanting to practice the start. Yep. Peter van der Spey practicing how to get that camel car off the line as quick as possible. Probably find he's going to do another one. He's got 7 seconds. Oh, almost choked it with that one. So it's definitely going to be a tight run to be able to work out exactly how to get these cars off the line as neat and as clean as possible. So let's have a look and see how that grid is going to pan itself out. It's Leon van Wyk from Luke Lukizi, Gerald Fourie and Graham Steven on the second row of the grid, Daniel Lamprecht from JJ van der Merwe, Timothy Stanton from Willem Botha, Peter van der Spey from Sandro Bakari, and Herman Lazarus in the cheapercars.co.za finds himself at the tail end of the field. And we're just about good to go, and the green lights comes on, and off they go, and away they go. It's Leon van Wyk from Luke Lukizi. Graham Steven, have a look on the inside. It's Herman Lazarus that's gone off at the back end of the pack. Daniel Lamprecht in that 4th position. A couple of the guys running pretty wide in turn number 1. Gerald Fourie, I think, was one of them as well. Leon van Wyk leading them through from Graham Steven and Luke Lukizi. Luke Lukizi's got Dewald Lamprecht right in there behind him. Dewald Lamprecht's going to have a dive up on that inside line. He's going to go for that inside line. No, he cannot make that one stick. Graham Steven is all over the back bumper. And it's Luke Lukizi. Then the two of them make a little bit of contact. And that means that Luke Lukizi will drop down just about to the back end of the field. Two very similar looking liveries there at the back end of the field. It's going to be a bit of a hard run to get from there. Even the likes of Luke Lukizi is not going to find it easy. And there's another two, that is JJ van der Merwe and Michael Steven that's gone off. So it is Leon van Wyk that's got himself a decent gap right now. Leon van Wyk from Daniel Lamprecht. Then we've got Willem Botha back in the game as well. Willem Botha's right in there. It's Timothy Steven in it behind that. Peter van der Spey, Sandro Bakari, as fast as you can say the names. Gerald Fourie over the rise underneath the Carlube Bridge. And he's got Luke Lukizi right in there behind him. Now, knowing Luke Lukizi and Gerald Fourie, they will somehow work their way from the back end of the pack to the front end of the pack. That's pretty much a given. There's little to no doubt in that, as we keep an eye on Gerald Fourie. And that is Gerald Fourie right in there behind Sandro Bakari. No, Sandro Bakari is a super senior, so he's not too worried about Sandro, but he's got to get past Sandro to get to Peter van der Spey. Up on that inside line he's going to go now, and he makes that one stick. Gerald Fourie past Sandro Bakari. Now the next trick is to get past the other super senior, that is Peter van der Spey. Keep an eye on Luke Lukizi. Luke Lukizi's still got to get his way past that cannon car. Luke Lukizi behind Sandro Bakari. Sandro Bakari will not want to get involved with these guys. He wants to go and fetch Peter van der Spey. That's the more important thing for him. As Willem Botha, look at this battle. Willem Botha in there behind him is Timothy Stanton. Timothy Stanton on the button at this stage of the fight. Underneath the bridge they go. Now flat foot towards that right-hander, double apex right-hander. Carry as much speed as you can. You can see how well Willem Botha went through there. Timothy Stanton had to roll slightly out of the gas. This is the last corner, and it drops away underneath you. You can't climb too hard on the gas there because it just lightens up the back end. Although there's a lot of downforce on these Lotus 79 wings, it's not enough to keep the tail end down with this amount of power, with this size rubber. Good line through there by Willem Botha. Timothy Stanton closing up as best he can. He's 3 positions up at this stage of the fight. Leon van Wyk, that's at the front end of the field, is still at the front end of the field as we ride with Timothy Stanton all over the back end of Willem Botha. 3 seconds further up the road, you just saw him going out of screen there as he came out of the U-bend. and down the front stretch they go now. Over that blind rise. Now they're going to come to that sharp right-left. There's not really much of a passing possibility here, but you've got to be very neat with those tire stacks on the inside of both corners. Play with the accelerator. Make sure you get good drive. You're not using too much curbstone like that you see out through the car back. So Timothy Stanton will close up just a little, because he got a better drive there out of the corner. Now just lightly on the gas, put the hammer down and just hope and pray that it holds together like that, and that's gonna, oh, and eventually turns himself right around, and well, it's damage is off. Oh, just trying to get going too quickly, and that was Hammer and Lazarus that went through there as well. So Timothy Stanton, unfortunately, dropping right down the field with that. Well, let's go back to Daniel Lampras. Daniel Lampras can see Leon van Wyk there in front of him. That's the man that is going to try and get hold of Daniel Lampras. There you see, there's our lead car coming towards the right hand bottom corner of the screen. Then we see Daniel Lampras in that second. Then that battle for third and fourth. That yellow car that you see, that's the camel car, that is Peter van der Spey. Then behind that is Sandro Bakari as he comes out into the straight as well. Behind that, Herman Lazarus, who just made up that position on Graham Stephen. There's a bit of a gap between the two of them there as well. Let's go to those intervals and see where is the closest battle. Probably Peter van der Spey and Willem Botha. There you see the two of them. The camel car is Peter van der Spey. The one directly in front of that, that is Willem Botha, as they work their way in amongst the trees. At high speed right-hander. Willem Botha sticks a wheel onto the curbstone. The back end almost got away from him. Leon van Wyk in the Being IT cars just put up the fastest lap of the race so far, 117.57. There's Daniel Lampras once again in the top two. Next one coming through is going to be Willem Botha. Behind Willem Botha is Sandro Bakari. And Peter van der Spey has gone into the pits. He's decided enough is enough. Let's get in here and get sorted out. Then it is Timothy Stanton. The next man is going to come through. And behind that will be JJ van der Merwe. That's trying to catch up to him. Peter van der Spey, the only man in the pits right now. Where is Luke Lukizi? Luke Lukizi comes through. So he finds himself still a long way down. Let's see who's been in and out of the pit so far. Luke Lukizi's been in and out. Gerald Ferrier's been in and out. Now, there's the interesting part. Luke Lukizi, the man you see on screen, and that man behind him, Gerald Ferrier, of the people that have been in and out of the pits, that is the first and second positions of the people that have been in and out. Has Leon van Wyk had enough pace to be able to go into the pits and come out in front of these two frequent flyers? Remember, Luke Lukizi was involved with the incident. Gerald Ferrier got worked wide and was involved in that incident as well, and hence the fact that Gerald Ferrier ended up going into the pits. 1.6 seconds between them. I think Leon van Wyk is doing enough because he's constantly putting up the fastest lap times. 117.39 for that man, Leon van Wyk. The next man coming through behind him, he is flying. Daniel Lampras taking advantage of the fact that Luke Lukizi, Gerald Ferrier and Peter van der Spey are in and out of the pits. Can he stay ahead of the next man behind him? And that is Willem Botha. We haven't seen much of Willem Botha with him being overseas with the Dakar Rally. The head man in the pit area for Toyota Gazoo South Africa. They would have had about 7 or 8 vehicles that was dealer team and privateer that they were looking after. So massive, massive task that he had, and leaving the country long before the time, getting back to the country a long time afterwards, after having packed up and sorted everything out. And that means that he's been away from the racing for a bit, but he always lost nothing whatsoever. Willem Botha is on the move. He is really pushing that car very, very hard. Look at that, Willem Botha not scared to get the tail end out just a smidgen as we have a look from our Jalen Performance chopper. Keep an eye on exactly how Willem Botha is going, but the next real battle that we've got to keep an eye of is in fact Graham Stephen closing up on the back end of Herman Lazarus. Herman will feel that pressure as they come through to finish yet another lap. Putting that car smack dead in the center of the racing line is Herman Lazarus. He knows he's racing for position here. Neither of the two of them have been in and out of the pits yet. Hence the fact that he's got to hold on to that position as best as he possibly can. Because if he doesn't, once that man gets past you, it's good night, nurse. You are not going to catch up to him again. Graham Stephen on the back end of Herman Lazarus. Where do you go from here? Well, you've got to try and find a way around somehow or other. But let's have a look at the front end of the field. Remember, this guy's name is Leon van Wyk. He's from Being IT, and he's leading out very handsomely at the front end of the pack. Directly behind him there is Daniel Lamprecht. They've got the better part of 10 seconds on Willem Botha. That's really throwing that car around. He's got 5 seconds on Super Senior Sandro Bakari, and for once Leon van Wyk doesn't put in a faster lap than what he did on the previous lap. He finds himself 2/10 quicker than Daniel Lamprecht, as we keep an eye on Sandro Bakari. 10 seconds further back, we'll pick up a time now for Willem Botha, a 1:17.7, so he's 0.2 quicker than Daniel Lamprecht. But on lap number 8 of 20, 9 minutes 33 into this 25-minute race, that will not be enough to catch up. Timothy Stanton's into the pits. JJ van der Merwe comes into the pits as well. With Luke Lukisi is going to be the next man, and Luke Lukisi is going to go straight past them. So that means Luke Lukisi is ahead of them out on circuit. And Leon van Wyk works his way around that tight section, doing a brilliant job. He's really sliding that back end around. Him and Willem Botha tend to be very heavy on that loud pedal. There's Daniel Lamprecht, 4.6 seconds further back. He likes those bright colors. 11 seconds further back is the colors of that car. We like to refer to it as the pink pig. Then Super Senior in the Williams Cannon colors. That is Sandro Bakari as he goes over the rise. Then behind him comes the Marlboro car of Graham Stephen. Remember, none of these that I've just mentioned have been in and out of the pits. And then there is Herman Lazarus. Herman Lazarus works his way through Peter van der Space all over the back end of Timothy Stanton. Let's have a look at that battle. So Herman Lazarus on Timothy Stanton. Sorry, I say Peter van der Space on the back end of Timothy Stanton. 1:17.39 is the best lap time for Leon van Wyk, but a 1:17.70 by Daniel Lamprecht, a 17.93 by Graham Stephen. Then I think the next one is, a 17.90 by Gerald Ferree, then a 0.93 by Graham Stevens. So only 300ths of a second in those fastest lap times that we've seen out there. As Peter van der Space tries to chase down Timothy Stanton. Leon van Wyk's got it all in the bag so far, but he's got to keep it together. The Being IT black mean machine as he works his way down the hill, around the bend. Let's see what kind of lap time is he going to put up on this lap. Has he still kept the hammer down? He's still got that 5.7 second lap, a 17.6. That's pretty quick. Daniel Lamprecht will come through just 5 seconds later on a 18.7, 1.1 seconds slower. Let's see Willem Botha as he comes through. Probably going to be in the 17s as well. No, 18.5, so taking 2/10 out of Daniel Lamprecht. And once again, I say that is not enough. It's not going to do it. He's not going to make it in time. Graham Stephen goes into the pits now. Graham Stephen, that's in the pits. The next question, where is Luke Lukisi? There comes Luke Lukisi. Luke Lukisi comes through. That means that he is going to be ahead of Graham Stephen. Gerald Ferree, the next man that comes through. So that realistically, the car that you just saw disappearing and the one you see on screen now, Luke Lukisi and Gerald Ferree. But the catchphrase is going to be called Leon van Wyk. He's 6 seconds ahead of Daniel Lamprecht, who is another 11 seconds ahead of Willem Botha. And the whole thing's going to come to a head when Leon van Wyk, that man on screen, when he comes into the pits. Is it going to be yet? Is he going to go in? Yes, he does. This is the deciding factor. He's in. What about Daniel Lamprecht? Is Daniel Lamprecht going to come in? They are on lap number 10. It's exactly halfway through. Daniel Lamprecht comes flying in there. Oh, he locks up as he comes in. Willem Botha. What is Willem Botha going to do? Probably going to go into the pits as well. It is halfway through the race, and Villenbuerter comes diving in. So Sandro Bakari is the next man that's coming through. Will Sandro also take the halfway mark? Yep, he takes the halfway mark. Herman Lazarus, the last man that has not been into the pits. There comes Herman Lazarus. Is he going to dive in the pits as well? Yes, it will be. Now the whole thing goes about Luc Lekizi. There comes Luc Lekizi. But Leon van Wyk is already up, dusted, and disappeared. And so is Daniel Lamprechts. The two of them have got a 6-second gap between Leon and the man on screen, Daniel, and another 6 seconds back to that man, Luc Lekizi. Now, that incident that Luke had right at the beginning, can he make up that time again? It's going to be very, very difficult. At the end of the day, they're on lap 11 of 20, 14 minutes into this 25-minute race. It's all going to go about the last lap times that they have done. Gerald Ferrier on a 17.7. That is very, very quick. Gerald Ferrier, 2.4 seconds. Gerald Ferrier behind. Ooh, look at that four-wheel drift as he works his way through. Gerald Ferrier trying to close up. JJ van der Merwe finds himself towards the back end of the pack in there behind Graham Stephen. Graham Stephen nowhere near where he wants to be whatsoever. JJ at one stage of the fight in the qualifying, he quickly put up a very competitive lap, and he was in the top 4. It's just towards the end as the big hitters started coming through and they knocked him down just a little. JJ van der Merwe, let's ride on board with him. That long sweeping right-hander. There you can see Herman Lazarus just in front of them as well. Hard on the brakes. Turn it in nice and tight. Get on the gas as quick as possible. Make sure that the back end does not step out on you as it gets very light as you go over the hill in towards turn number 1. Late apex. Use as much of the track as possible. Flat foot over the blind rise. Move right towards the right-hand side of the circuit. Down 2 gears. Smoothly ease it through there. Get on the gas now from here on out. It's flat foot. This next left-hander in front of you, you just keep the hammer down. Start wide. Apex. Run it wide. Pull it right to the left-hand side. Climb hard on the brakes. Go down 4 gears. Use that curbstone on the inside. Stay away from that outside curb because that's where it tends to unsettle the car. If you get the back wheel to touch on that curbstone and you're turning and accelerating at the same time, it just walks around on your 117.831 by the leader, Leon van Wyk. And look at this. This is getting tighter. We were JJ van der Merwe. It's Graham Stephen that's in front of him. It's Herman Lazarus in front of that. And then Super Senior, Sandro Bakari. Once again, Luc Lekizi does a 17.7. He takes 3/10 out of Daniel Lamprechts. But it's not going to be enough. Somehow he's got to find something more. Or Daniel's got to make a mistake. And going for the dive in front of us is Graham Stephen on Herman Lazarus. Herman Lazarus covers that line. Graham Stephen knows he's got to get through. He's got to get through quickly because Sandro Bakari will be easing it away up on the inside now of Herman Lazarus. Can he hold that line and get the power down? Yes, he does. Herman Lazarus is right in the slipstream. Will he fight back and go for that inside line, or will he just stay right there? Nope, there's nothing he can do about that one. JJ van der Merwe needs these guys to slow one another up just a little bit, that he can climb in there as well. Oh, clapping the stones on the outside. That was so close. 4 gears down, right on that inside line and out onto the outside he goes. You see nobody touching that curb on the outside, and it's all about Leon van Wyk at the front end of the field as we sit with 10th position. JJ van der Merwe, we ride on board with JJ. In front of him, Herman Lazarus, who's just been passed by Graham Stephen. Graham Stephen that's now going in search of Super Senior Sandro Bakari. This is the tightest battle that there is out there on track. As I said, it's going to be very, very close-knit out there on the track. You can hear how the back end gets light and the revs just start to run away as we ride right on the back of Herman Lazarus. Can he go for the outside line now? I think he's going to go for the outside line. Side by side they go. He'll be on the inside for the next corner. And JJ van der Merwe, if he can turn it. Oh, he goes right onto the grass and turns it too much and takes that car to pieces. It literally disintegrates when it hits the barrier. There's Peter van der Spey that's coming through in the camel car. So all the hard work that was done by JJ van der Merwe is dismantled. Oh, Leon van Wyk. He is really hammered down. Is Leon van Wyk. Daniel Lamprecht, can he do anything about it? No, I do not believe he can. Can Lukakisi catch up? Well, if there was enough laps, that's a half a second that he's taken out on the last lap. 5 times half a second, 2.5 seconds. That does not make up the 4.3 second gap. So Daniel Lamprecht has just got to keep it nice and smooth. I don't believe Gerald Fourie is going to be able to catch up. It's a 17.9 as opposed to a 17.5. So I think Gerald Fourie's gone as far forward as what he can drive towards the front end of the field. I don't believe he's going to be able to get any further than that unless somebody else makes some form of error. If somebody else makes some form of error, then it's going to be a different scenario that we're going to be playing out at that stage of the fight. 19 minutes 22 seconds into the 25 minutes, lap 15 of 20, and it's all about Leon van Wyk. He's acing this one. The new kid on the block, Daniel Lamprecht, goes through that tight section. Then it's going to be Lukakisi that comes out, but Daniel doesn't make well. His friend's name is Neil. On his ID book says Daniel, and then it's Gerald Fourie. Willem Botha using the curbstones, the rumble stones, and a bit of the grass as well as he takes the pink pig through that long sweeping right-hander. Oh, he got very good speed through there, did Willem Botha. A 17.6 by Leon van Wyk stretches his lead. A 18.4 Daniel Lamprecht. A 17.3. Wow, look, Lukakisi is flying. The interval is 4.5 seconds, but to make up that 4.5, once again going off. Willem Botha trying just a little bit too hard. But the frequent flyer, and let's ride on board with him, is in fact Lukakisi. He's the fastest man out there right now. And in fact, by 0.02 of a second, he's posted the fastest lap so far. I do believe Herman Lazarus has just had an incident. Let's see what happened to Herman Lazarus. Yep, that's that piece that I said to you. It just falls away underneath you, and you have to be very smooth on the gas to be able to get over that rise and rotate the car and get the power down as best as you possibly can. Tantalizingly close, but just not close enough. What's the lap time? A 1:20.5. Leon van Wyk a lot slower, 17.5. Once again taking a half a second. Lukakisi out of Daniel Lamprecht. You can see Daniel, but at a half a second a lap with just 3 laps to go, that's going to leave him a second on the wrong side of Daniel Lamprecht. Which side? The back side of Daniel Lamprecht. Can Lukakisi squeeze something out? Will Daniel Lamprecht make a mistake? If we go to Daniel Lamprecht and we look back from Daniel Lamprecht, you'll just get a glimpse every now and again. There you see, there is the Lukakisi car that's ominously close. He's just got to get through 3 more laps. That's all he needs, just 3 more laps for Daniel Lamprecht to be able to get that podium position, that second place podium position, and that's the man that could take that second away from him. Lukakisi pushing very, very hard, pounding that rubber as they go into lap number 18. It is Leon van Wyk. The next man through is Daniel Lamprecht. It's Lukakisi. Then it's Gerald Fourie. Then a 10-second gap back to the man rounding out the top 5. There he goes across the start-finish line now. It's Willem Botha. Timothy Stanton, for once, outside of the top 5. Very seldom that it happens. The success story in the candy car. Graham Stephen 5 seconds further back. Graham Stephen will definitely not be happy with this one whatsoever. Sandro Bakari where he needs to be in terms of the seniors, as the next car coming through behind him is in fact Peter van der Spey, with the recovering JJ van der Merwe hot on his heels. And then not far behind that is Herman Lazarus. Once again, the fastest lap by Luc Lekizi, and he's taken another 6/10 out of it, a 17.31. Luc Lekizi on the limit, on the edge. You cannot go any faster than what Luc Lekizi is going. And let's just experience that from the cockpit. Luc Lekizi coming through to start lap number 19. A 17 point, what did you do? A 17.31. Just easing it through there and closing all the time. The next time they come around is probably going to be for the white flag. Will Daniel Lamprecht be able to swallow up the pressure? It's going to be interesting to see if he's going to make any errors at all, because we're not accustomed to him making any errors at all. He's the kind of guy that keeps it all nice and smooth, and I don't believe there will be too much of a train smash with that one. I think he'll keep it all together and make sure that he gets it all the way to the line. Time is ticking away pretty fast now as we ride on board with Luc Lekizi. Well, Leon van Wyk, is Leon van Wyk gone through already? There goes Leon van Wyk. Leon van Wyk goes through to take the checkered flag. Oh, he's so chuffed with that one. Leon van Wyk with the win. Daniel Lamprecht comes through in second place. Luc Lekizi, look how close he got eventually. Gerald Fourie 5 seconds further back in that fourth position. Willem Botha, the next man to come through. Using up a whole lot of grass there. Timothy Stanton. Not far behind Timothy is Graham Stephen. Sweated it out this race. He's been playing catch up all race long. As Timothy Stanton goes through, Graham Stephen goes through. Next man up will be Sandro Bakari, the super senior from JJ van der Merwe. Peter van der Spey with Herman Lazarus fighting until the last. Not giving up on that one was Herman Lazarus as the last two cars come across the line. Well, he passed him after the checkered flag. Either way, you can say I passed him. Well, that was brilliant stuff. Everything you hoped for, wished for, and more. That was really good. So heat number one. Let's have a look at those overall results as soon as the computer will give it to us. There we go. So Leon van Wyk winning out by 6.9 seconds. Now remember, on the invert, I think it's going to be probably the top 8 that's going to be on the invert. So Leon van Wyk will move a long way down, probably down to around about 8th position. He is slightly quicker in the present setup, on the present circuit, on the given night at the moment now than Daniel Lamprecht. He slowly but surely managed to eat his way, slowly but surely, meter for meter away from Daniel Lamprecht. But keep in mind that Neil was being closed down by Luc Lekizi, who had that incident earlier on, and had to recover the back end of the pack. And from the back end of the pack, he rode all the way with the race driver SA Pantera Racing entry back to that third position. But now, remember, on the restart, at the back of the frequent flyers will be Leon van Wyk with Daniel Lamprecht alongside him. Luc Lekizi will find himself alongside Gerald Fourie. Now, neither of those two is going to back off. Gerald knows if he beats Luc into and out of turn number 1, he's in with a good chance. Luc knows if he beats Gerald in and out of turn number 1, he's in with a pretty good chance. And I think that is going to be the biggest battle of everything going down into the first corner. Just ahead of them will be Willem Botha and at least Timothy Stanton as well. Then it might be Graham Stephen and Sandra Bakari. Now, if they invert the top 8 and Graham Stevens on the front row of the grid, I'm going to predict that he's going to up dust and disappear. And even the frequent flyers like Leon, Daniel, Luke, and Gerald are going to really battle to be able to hold on to the likes of Graham Stephen. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and we'll be back with you directly after that. Right, as we said, that's going to be the invert as you saw them there on the line. And let's see if we can pick up that grid again. There we go. Sandra Bakari and Graham Stephen. Well, if Graham Stephen gets away, I think it's going to be a hard fought night for the likes of Willem Botha, Gerald Fourie, Luke Lekizi, Daniel Lamprecht, and Leon van Wyk to catch up to him, because once Graham Stephen sniffs that front end, it's going to be very difficult to be able to go and fetch him. And looks like Luke Lekizi and Gerald Fourie have dived through there very, very quickly. It's really quick that they've managed to get through. It's Graham Stephen, it's Willem Botha. Behind Willem Botha is in fact Gerald Fourie. And Willem Botha runs it a bit wider, and that takes Graham Stephen to the front end of the pack, but he's fighting back. He's fighting back real hard. Willem Botha's not going to keep that. Oh, look at that. He runs it just a little bit wide, and that was Willem Botha that went off there. So Willem Botha's gone a long way back, and Luke Lekizi as well. So Luke Lekizi has lost a lot of ground. Let's see how that one played itself out. Yeah, he was right towards the outside, just running it a little bit too hard and too high. So it's all about Gerald Fourie, the man that's in there right now. What an amazing start to this race, exactly what we expected. But Leon van Wyk has stepped up to the plate, because as Gerald Fourie has gotten away, so Leon van Wyk has gone all the way with him as well. Leon van Wyk can have a look on that outside line. There's nowhere to go around there. In there behind them is Timothy Stanton. Then the next man to come over the hill will in fact be Peter van der Spey. Peter van der Spey's got JJ van der Merwe in there behind him. Behind that is Herman Lazarus. Then it is Graham Stephen. Luke Lekizi's gone into the pits. He doesn't want to get stuck in the traffic whatsoever. He wants to stay away from that one. So let's see first of all what happened to Graham Stephen. As they're about to come off the line, something must have happened with Graham Stephen. No, that all looked quite fine. Sandra Bakari was off track. He literally had nowhere to go and got a little bit of a nip on the front bumper, on the front wheel should I say. Willem Botha, he just ran it wide all by himself. Gerald Fourie also using the whole track and more, and that is pretty much what you needed to do. Then we had Luke Lekizi that went off track. just got it a little bit too wide and then made contact and then ran it off onto the other side of the track. Then Graham Stephen had another little off as well, and that was right onto the grass on the outside. Had to pull that lot back into play. The candy car coming past, he does the gentlemanly thing and doesn't get in anybody's way. And then we had Luke Lekisi. Yep, that's the same incident that just came up again. And then Daniel Lamprecht was off the circuit as well. His car recovers itself and he gets himself back onto the track. So it's Gerald Fourie that is at the front end of the pits, as opposed to Graham Stephen that we were expecting to up dust, disappear and get away. Gerald Fourie with Leon van Wyk right in there behind him. Nothing much between these two. Riding on board with Leon van Wyk. He actually gave me some driving lessons on Monday night. He hopped on board on my car and was watching and saying, do this, do that. As he said to me there, get the power in as best you can. When you go down towards turn number 1, go for a late apex, like that. Late apex, get onto the gas nice and hard. Now it's flat foot all the way down here. Pull it towards the right hand side. 2 gears down. Get it onto the power nice and smooth. Now it's going to be flat foot all the way through the left hander. Bring it across the left hand side as quick as you can. Hold it there. Drop it down into the dip. Use that red and white stripe on the inside. Don't touch the curves on the outside. Shorten that, as the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Hence using that inside line. Now timing it very neatly, coming down through the gears very, very heavily. Down 4 gears to be able to make it through. You get to the left hand side, climb on the gas as quick as you possibly can. A little bit of oversteer there. You saw he started to correct on that one. Now it's flat foot all the way through. Just a light lift as they go through the double right hander, carrying that power all the way over the blind riser. Now to the last corner. Listen to the accelerator. Yeah, you see there you go. That's where you've got to be so light on the gas. Well, that was a lap with Leon van Wyk, and he is very, very quick. Timothy Stanton will be pretty chuffed with this one so far. He's done an 18.1 as opposed to the 17.4 of Leon van Wyk in front of him. But a 19.4 for Peter van der Spey directly behind him. A 19.9 for Herman Lazarus. So that puts Timothy Stanton in a pretty decent position as Graham Stephen comes into the pits. Graham Stephen is in. JJ van der Merwe is in as well. Luke Lekisi coming through. And to the pit exit already. There is Graham Stephen. There is JJ van der Merwe. And there goes Luke Lekisi. Has he got enough speed to carry through to get past them? Trying every trick in the book. And no, it's not going to be. Both of them are in front of him. Graham Stephen. Remember I said if he gets away at the front end of the pack, he's going to be very difficult to hold down. Graham Stephen, ahead of JJ van der Merwe. Then the recovering Luke Lekisi. Now, once again, we have a situation where Luke Lekisi, if he's going to go hunting, he's going to have to go now. He's going to have to go now, because if he doesn't, it's going to be a case of Graham Stephen romping off into the future. There you got a nice shot of all 3 of them together. The man that's just worked his way out of shot, that's the Marlboro car up front, that's Graham Stephen. A 17.4 by Gerald Fourie. So he's pumping in the quick ones now, Gerald Fourie, to try and ensure that he can go in and out of the pits timeously. Oh, look at Lekisi using that car as a lawnmower. Look at Lekisi on Graham Stephen. Let's have a look at the intervals between them right now. Luke Lekisi 2.2. Remember that one, 2.2 seconds. Luke Lekisi to Graham Stephen. Once they've both done a full lap without a pit stop, we'll be able to get a comparison between the two of them. Luke Lekisi's fastest so far is a 17.88. The best for Graham Stephen was a 18.45, so that does not bode well to date on the lap times for Graham Stephen. But don't forget about that man up front. Ooh, he's just put in a 17.41. Leon van Wyk to within 100th of a second, 17.42. Timothy Stanton on his last lap did a 120.1. Herman Lazarus a 118.93, a 118.54, 4/10 quicker was Sandro Bakari. Peter van der Spey has come in, he's done an 18.86, that was 3/10 slower. Peter van der Spey's got himself into the pits, probably fine. Graham Stevens going to be going through roundabout now. So Graham Stevens, there you can see Peter van der Spey on the right hand side as he comes through. There's Peter van der Spey. Luke Lekizi is going to go through as well. There's Luke Lekizi, he's gone through. And what about Daniel Lamprechts? There's Daniel Lamprechts, and he finds himself behind Peter van der Spey. There's the camel car that you see directly in front of that. So that is how that one's going to play itself out. We're on lap 7 of 20, 9 minutes into the 25 minutes, and it's all on between Leon van Wyk and Gerald Fourie, lapping to within 100th of a second on the last lap. Let's see, what is it going to be this time around? Last time it was a 17.55, now 17.49 for Gerald Fourie, and a 17.34, 1500ths of a second. So Leon van Wyk, 1500ths of a second, he takes out of Gerald Fourie. But remember, in the last 2 rounds, we have seen these two battle toe to toe, neither of them giving a millimeter, neither of them making a mistake, neither of them being intimidated by the other. So don't be surprised if Leon van Wyk can get to Gerald Fourie. Getting past is going to be a completely different kettle of fish. It's not going to be an easy call. Timothy Stanton, I think he's not too worried about what's happening in front of him right now. It's more a case of keeping that gap 9 seconds to Herman Lazarus, who is then another 1.9 ahead of Sandro Bakari. There he goes up over the rise, Herman Lazarus, and Super Senior. There he comes through, Sandro Bakari. Are these guys going to go into the pits before the halfway mark? I don't think so. I think they're going to wait for another 2 laps before they are going to do that. Now Daniel Lamprechts is in behind Peter van der Spey. The new kid on the block. Neil closing up on the Golf aeroplane captain. Peter van der Spey lives the top end of Cape Town up on the hill. Beautiful view from his balconies. Man flies golf jets around the world. Been doing so for years. Been chartered on numerous occasions to fly presidents of African states around due to his experience and abilities to do paperwork in foreign countries. Gerald Fourie from Timothy Stanton. Gerald Fourie 9 seconds ahead of Timothy Stanton. 10 seconds back to the next one, which is Herman Lazarus. Remember, none of these guys have been into the pits. Super Senior Sandro Bakari. A big thanks to Sandro Bakari for his financial input into this series. Oh, into the pit lane goes Gerald Fourie. What does Timothy Stanton do? Is Timothy Stanton going to go in as well? No, Timothy Stanton says, I'm going to lead. If it's only for 1 lap, I'll do it. Here comes Herman Lazarus. Herman Lazarus, which way is he going to go? He's going to go straight through as well. And Sandro Bakari goes through as well. So Gerald Fourie on his way out of the pits. The whole thing goes about, where's Leon van Wyk? There's Leon van Wyk. Where's Gerald Fourie? There's Gerald Fourie. And there's Graham Stephen. Oh, now it's on. Now it's on like Donkey Kong. Look, Easy all over the back end of Graham Stephen. This is going to be Battle Royal. Luke Lucchese on Graham Stephen. A 17-7 by Luke Lucchese. Graham Stephen is going to be very hard pushed like that to stay ahead of the high-flying Luke Lucchese. Still Sandro, Herman and Timothy that have not been into the pits. I do believe that Leon van Wyk is well on his way to a good result here. Remember, in race number 1, that's how it came out. Leon van Wyk, Daniel Lamprechts, and then Luke Lucchese. And, well, now we've got a case where Leon van Wyk finds himself the lead man out there on track. Oh, into the pits goes Timothy Stanton. Into the pits is Timothy. What about Herman Lazarus? Is Herman and Sandro going to go in as well? Probably they will. It is lap number 11. No reason not to go in at this point. Sandro Bakari. And that means Leon van Wyk's going to go straight past and into the lead. There comes Gerald Ferry. He goes through as well. Where is Graham Stephen? Graham Stephen coming now towards the line. And Timothy Stanton's on his way out of the pit lane already. Timothy Stanton is going to come out ahead of them. Will he? Yep, there comes Graham Stephen and Luke Lucchese. So Timothy Stanton, brilliant stuff. Timothy Stanton right in there with the big hitters and ahead of them. Graham Stephen being pressurized by Luke Lucchese is probably going to slow Graham Stephen down just a smidgen, because here and there, wherever Luke's close enough, he's going to stick his nose in. And Graham's going to have to do a slightly defensive maneuver here and there. Luke Lucchese wagging the backhand, and that gives just a little bit of breathing space to Graham Stephen. And while that is on the go, that is exactly what Timothy Stanton needs. Remember, Timothy Stanton's got 9 seconds in front of him to be able to catch anything or make a positional change. So if you look in front of him, 9 seconds, there's nothing to be seen. It's all wider open track, nice and smooth through there, over that blind rise, underneath the Carlu motor oil bridge down towards the final corner, up over the rise, nice and smooth on the gas. Don't hit the back end brake away from you, but get it down as quick as possible. Run it slightly wider and make a tight entry for turn number 1, late apex, and get it onto the curve. Get it onto the curbstones. He works his way through. We're riding on board with Timothy Stanton. He's got to keep it all smooth and neat right now. And if he can do that, he will be able to then stay ahead of that man, Graham Stephen. And Graham Stephen's actually gotten away from Luke Lucchese. Now, on previous laps, it looked like Luke Lucchese was going to be the quicker of the two. But it's not so. Graham Stephen pulling all the stops out to stay ahead of Luke Lucchese. In fact, it's stretched itself out to 0.8 of a second right now. Graham Stephen back to Luke Lucchese. That throttle control is just so good of Graham Stephen. Not spinning up the back wheels at all, keeping maximum traction but getting maximum power down as well. See the skid plates touching on the bumps as they work their way through the slightly rougher sections of the circuit. Closing up heavily there under braking, but of understeer there for Luke Lucchese. It's a brilliant opportunity to look at the prowess of Mr. Luke Lucchese, a racing man of note, an IT specialist of note. Very much a kingpin in making this series work, and also a big thanks to Leon van Wyk, that's taken a lot of the pressure off Luke Lucchese and started doing a lot of the prep work. As you can see, Luke Lucchese is now trying to close up on the back end of Graham Stephen, who we ride on board with. Is Luke Lucchese going to try and have a go? Remember, Graham Stephen still 2 seconds. Oh, they just about make contact. That was very close. Two top class drivers that managed to not make contact with one another. Gerald Ferry and Leon van Wyk still in that titanic struggle. 14 of the 20 laps, 17 and a half of the 25 minutes. That is first and second that you see coming there through your picture. Gerald Fourie and Leon van Wyk as they work their way through. 0.8 of a second. Leon cannot get away. Gerald Fourie just cannot close. Both of them are riding away from Timothy Stanton. Timothy Stanton is doing every trick in the bookies. And remember I said it was 1.8. It's now down to 1.5. Timothy Stanton has got to stay super duper smooth to stay ahead of Graham Stephen. But Graham Stephen, having said that, needs to stay away from Luke Lekizi sticking his nose in here, there and everywhere. And the only time that Graham Stephen really catches Timothy Stanton is when he can shake a bit of a gap between himself and Luke Lekizi. And at that point, you see he then closes up. But every time he closes, it's just a tenth. That's all he can get. He's from 1.5 now down to 1.4. Graham Stephen on the back end of Timothy Stanton. That's doing a brilliant job. In fact, maybe Luke Lekizi should leave Graham Stephen alone. Let Graham Stephen go and fetch Timothy Stanton. Turn it into a three-way battle. Pressurize Graham Stephen into trying to get past Timothy Stanton. And maybe something happens in front of him. So maybe a bit of a tactical thing right now for Luke Lekizi to just stick around by the 0.6, 0.7 of a second and not rattle the feathers of Graham Stevens, so Graham can run that ultimate line and try and search down that gap between himself and Timothy Stanton. It's a beautiful dice this. Don't forget about Peter van der Spey on the back end of Hammer and Lazarus. They're down to 0.4 of a second. We've got to have a look at that one as well. Pushing that camel car as far as he possibly can. Peter van der Spey is hard on the gas, and remember he is ahead of Sandro Bakari as well, which is what really matters for him right now. There's 2 seconds in it as Luke Lekizi now once again closes up on Graham Stephen. Nothing much between the two of them on the overall pace. Fastest lap so far in this race remains at 17.41 by Gerald Fourie, 17.42 by Leon van Wyk. Then a 17.76 by the man we're watching now, Luke Lekizi. And then the next one behind that will be a 17.91 by Graham Stephen. Then a 17.90 by Daniel Lamprecht. And then the 0.91 that we just spoke about now. Oh, what a beautiful dice this is. Luke Lekizi, Graham Stephen. And Graham Stevens now getting into slipstream of Timothy Stanton. I think we've got to ride on board with Luke Lekizi, and let's have a closer look at the finer detail of this three-way battle. Luke Lekizi head down, pedaling as hard as he can. Graham Stephen, when will he have that look to see if he can get past Timothy Stanton? Graham Stephen runs it in a bit too deep, and that is exactly where Luke Lekizi takes advantage of that one. All the hard work that he did, and now Graham Stephen finds himself behind Timothy Stanton and Luke Lekizi. That's going to blow his opportunities, because for Graham Stephen to now catch back up to Luke Lekizi and launch an attack is going to be near impossible for him at this stage of the fight. Now, Luke Lekizi on lap 17 of a possible 20 sees the target in front of him, and that is Timothy Stanton, who is right now in a podium position. Will he be able to hold out? Timothy Stanton, the son of Roly Stanton, Roland Manifolds, iconic names and faces and entities in the motorsport world in South Africa. Gets good drive out of that one. Timothy Stanton's going to be feeling the pressure. Timothy Stanton's going to... Oh, here comes Luke Lekizi. Timothy's already closed up on that inside line. He's closed up on that inside line. Will he try and hold out, or is he going to give that one away? Timothy Stanton decides, I tell you what, rather than us fight and then Graham come and fetch me as well, come on, rather let you go, not hold you up. use your slipstream and then try and prevent Graham Stephen from getting to me in the last 2.5 minutes of this race. Timothy has got to be a very good candidate for the driver of race number 2. He's done really... Oh, he ran it a bit wide there. He ran it a little bit wide there, did Timothy Stanton. But he held onto it pretty well. Let's have a look at that front end of the grid. Gerald Fourie within 4/10 still of Leon van Wyk. So close between the two of them. Not a millimeter given, not a millimeter asked, not a millimeter taken. No mistakes, no late braking lockups, no massive oversteers coming out of corners. Let's just hope we don't give them the commentator's curse. A lot of understeers. He went through the initial part of that right-hander. I think Leon van Wyk's got this one. To be very honest with you, Leon van Wyk has been on it all night long. He's been practicing all week long. Sunday night he practiced. Monday night he was in the practice session. Tuesday night he was in the practice session. Even helping other people in last night's practice and Monday night's practice. 23 minutes and 56 on lap number 19. That to my mind means that we are on the last lap as we keep an eye on Leon van Wyk and Gerald Fourie. That was super duper close, right on the outer skirts of that brickwork that's on the outside amongst the grass on the outside of the curbstone. He used the track, he used the white line, he used the curbstone, and then he was using those cobbles on the outside, and he managed to straighten it out just in time to make sure that he kept it all in a straight line. 24 minutes 40. What a battle. What an amazing struggle. I think when they come towards the line, it's going to be for the checkered flag. Let's have a look at that one as they come towards the line. Great finesse. Awesome pace. Leon van Wyk takes the checkers flag, and that ahead of Gerald Fourie. Here comes Luc de Kiezy. Oh, and before the line, Luc de Kiezy throws it away into the wall. And that is going to hand the position to Timothy Stanton. Timothy Stanton goes through, so Timothy Stanton goes through in third. Then it's Graham Stephen, and then after that is Luc de Kiezy, and that brings JJ van der Merwe. Good, that's all after the line, so that was JJ van der Merwe that came through. Then Daniel Lamprecht is the next one coming through, so Luc de Kiezy right on the last, throwing that one away. That was something else. Man, oh man, oh man. Sandra Bakari from Peter van der Spey. And everybody's just throwing it there into the barrier. Saying, let's just hammer it into the wall and see how that one plays itself out. What a race. So heat number 1 was Leon from Neil, from Luke, Gerald and Willem. The feature race, Leon, Gerald, Timothy, Graham and Luke. Leon van Wyk. I've got to give you driver of the day for that one. 2 races, 2 wins, and the front row of the grid for starters. That was utterly amazing. The other man that we have to have a look at is Timothy Stanton. Now, Timothy Stanton was in a 6th position in race number 1 and in 3rd position. So, runner-up driver of the day, I think, must go to Timothy Stanton. Gerald Fourie was a little bit unlucky with that first one. Let's just have a look at that one again. Gerald Fourie, it just didn't go his way. He ended up with a 4th position and then also picking up a second position. So that doesn't do his aspirations any harm whatsoever. Remember, Graham Stephen and Leon van Wyk, there was 1 point between the two of them, and 1 point to Gerald Ferry. Graham, Leon, and Gerald. That was where that battle is. So Graham Stephen will probably drop back just a smidgen. If you look at how that one's played itself out. Yeah, Graham Stephen with a 7th over there. And a 4th position, as opposed to Leon with a 2 wins and Gerald with a 4th and a 2nd. So driver of the day, Leon van Wyk, runner-up Timothy Stanton for that brilliant second race of his. Sandra Bakari in the feature eventually just made it ahead of Peter van der Spy, and in heat number 1, the super senior Sandra Bakari beating out on Peter van der Spy there as well. Well, I think that was everything that we expected, hoped for, wished for, and more. Lotus 79s from Alton Park, season 13, round number 7. I really hope you guys enjoyed that one. I think it was a brilliant event, and we look forward to round number 8. Where's it going to be? Well, we don't know. What cars are going to be? Well, we don't know. What time is it going to be? Exactly the same as the previous one. The 46 minutes of practice from 8 until 14 minutes to 9, the 12-minute quali, and then 2 25-minute races thereafter. My name's Gary Fleming from Second Gear Productions. It's been an honor, a pleasure to be here with you this evening, and I look forward to seeing you guys same time next week. Masters and Grandmasters. Cheers, everybody.